Hey everyone, welcome to the Volleyball Data Lab. I'm your host, Tyler Widdison, and I've got our studio fired up, ready to dive into some serious data learning. As the former performance analyst for USA Beach Volleyball, I know firsthand the importance of being able to handle loads of data. In this series, we will break down the use of R so it becomes easier to use. So get ready to spike your data skills. Let's get started. Okay, group by and summarize. For this video, we're going to look at grouping by different situations, players, teams, rotations, and we're going to summarize. So we're going to take a summary of those groups and create a statistic or a metric or some kind of box score type of situation. So like attacking kills or attacking attempts, attacking errors, etc. Serving errors, you could do it with any of the skills, just sub whatever attack skill we have and sub it with what we got. So I'm going to do attacks. So we're going to look at, we're going to load our data first, highlight everything, or you can just say run. I think that would work. You have to have the lines highlighted, run. That works. So first off, just got to double check it. You never know, right? Cool, cool. I have a cool idea actually. Seeing the phase there. So we're going to shift this over. Again, we're using a DFRDA. It's these three DVW files, 2015 Pac-12, mainly on Washington State. So we're going to say DF, Control-Shift-M for piping, and we're going to hit Enter just so it's a little clean. First, we're going to say filter. We don't want those NAs. I talked about filtering and filtering out those NAs in the filtering video, so check that out if you haven't. We're going to say filter is not NA. Let's see. Let's say player name. Whoops. And Control-1, Control-2 takes you from the console and to your working window. It's kind of nice. All right, so we got that. And then we're going to say group by. First off, we're just going to say player name. Count. Let's see what that looks like. And then head, just because we don't want to return everything. So that, as you can see, that's going to return in alphabetical order the player names, just so I can see a little bit better, player names, and the count of their attacks, or excuse me, the count of the times their name was returned, basically. You could break it down further, and you could add a team, so we can see who plays with which team. You can see Jensen 136, Jensen 136. Now we just have a team attached to it. So, but now we're going to take the group, and we're going to do something called Summarise. You can do it that way. I personally do it this way because Hadley Ucum does, and he's the guy that built this, this whole framework of piping and dplyr and tidyverse. And I just like to see the S instead of the Z personally. Whoops. Summarize, not that. Summarize. Summarize. So we're going to say summarize. So it's similar to mutate, and I talked about mutating in the previous video as well. So with mutate, you type in the column name first. All right, summarize is the same way. So we're going to say summarize. Actually, we'll say attack attempts. And then we're going to say equal. So we want an attack attempts column added on to this. So it's going to replace that N. That N is going to become attack attempts. So if we just go something like that, say N. So you can see attack attempts, but there's nothing happening because it's called what's called a string. We need numbers, not a string. But if I were to just type like 0, it's going to return 0. So we need to say something with the summarize. So sum is typically used. I don't know if I've ever used anything other than sum, to be completely honest. I think I just use sum every time. I think you can use mean, and average, and there's probably other statistical ways you can replace this here. For now, we're going to use sum. We're going to say, all right, so we're looking at attack attempts. We're going to say skill is equal to attack. That's the first thing we need to say. If we say that and hit enter, we're going to see the number of attack attempts by these players. So that's what that does. It's pretty awesome. And it's pretty simple, and it returns all teams. And if you wanted to get a little crafty, you could sort that by attack attempts. After you get done with the summarize, you're going to want to do dot groups equals drop. And what that does, basically when you group by player name and team, that group stays the same if this does not exist. And that becomes problematic when you're going to do something, when you start adding more things like a mutate, because the piping is still saying, hey, you're still grouped and you did a summarize. Now you're going to mutate with that same group. And so it just doesn't work well as things get bigger. So you're definitely going to want to say dot groups equals drop, and that's going to help a ton. So we're just going to leave that there, and then we're going to say attack kills. So now what you can do is just keep going. You can with this and evaluation. Wow, evaluation code equals pound. Comma, or else we'll throw you an error. And there you go. Now you have the kills and the attempts. So if we wanted to get trickier, we could even throw in phase. And now watch. Now it shows us the phase, the attack attempts, and the kills. For reception, serve will always be 0, so I'm not sure why. So instead of phase, let's get rid of that, and let's say attack phase, because basically it's returning every group whether or not it has 0. So if we say attack phase, that's going to return NA. So this is where we can throw in a mutate. So I like to do this. So what we do is we say attack phase equals if else grepl transition attack. Attack phase transition attack phase. So what this is saying is look at the attack phase. Every time the word transition appears in attack phase, so breakpoint or set out, return only transition. So that's going to change this breakpoint and side out to transition only, and so these two end up being combined. So that will be 13 for Adora. So let's take a gander and see if that works. And there you go. So now you can do that. And something else you can do to get rid of those NAs at the bottom here, if you don't do it in your filter, you could say NA.omit, and that also gets rid of your NAs. So now it's a little cleaner, and we're looking at reception and transition. But we can take it a step further if we so wish. We can say attack percent. Kill percent. Let's just do it that way. You would basically say attack kills divided by attack attempts, comma, and now you have a kill percent. But it does bring out a round of 3. So there's different ways to make sure that's an actual percent. We're going to use round. So you're going to hit round, put it at the beginning, 2, like that, and that should work, right? Yeah, that. So you could do it that way. There's other ways to do it to get an actual percentage, but what happens is if you actually get a percentage, you cannot use that number, or excuse me, use that column as a number again, or else it breaks. So it gets kind of annoying if you're trying to build something and you need it as a number again. You can also, and that method is called scales percent, and that is a part of the tidyverse package. And now you can see, look, I could get rid of that, I believe. There you go. Now we have a percent. If we really wanted, we could just keep going deeper if we so choose. Attack error equals sum skill equals attack, and I hate spelling this out. It should just be grade. Percent C. So what we're saying here, we're saying if the evaluation code is in, or other words, if the attack is an error or a block stuff, error, block stuff, return all the sum of that. And it does so. And so from there, what we can do is then create attack efficiency. And we're actually going to hit round, and then we're going to say attack kills minus attack error, and we're going to do this so it doesn't break on us, minus, or excuse me, divide by attack attempts 2, comma, actually 3. And now you can see we have an attack efficiency. I believe that's right. I hope it is. I'm actually not sure. If we take off phase, you can see that we get something with more numbers. If you have more data, obviously you can use that. So now you can grab 20 DVWs, you can grab 200 DVWs, throw it in there and do this and look at your conference statistics pretty quickly by player, really fast. It's super awesome. And actually from here you can do stuff with tables, with plots, all sorts of stuff. You change the skill to a serve, reception, and you change the evaluation code, and you can continue onward, upward and onward, and building something marvelous. That's fun to build. You can also start piecing this together for reports, PDFs. Going to go through that eventually, but step by step, right? Okay.